friends! Welcome back to the channel and welcome back for another episode of our Tiny Town Challenge. I am so excited. We are going to get started with a new Tiny Town member today, so let's go ahead and bring up our wheel. Okay, so here we have our beautiful little wheel. We are down to 3 Sims that we could possibly get for our Tiny Town, and I cannot wait to see who we have next. It's going to be Azure. Very exciting. All right, let's go ahead and bring up Azure. Okay, here she is, Azure Hugh. Her skill, how we will be making her money, is through painting. Her decor style is contemporary boho, and her signature color is blue. I think I'll be leaning more towards blue boho for her. Okay, you guys, I am devastated. I started to play through Azure's whole storyline, and I have 2 hours worth of footage, and I just went to go edit it for today's video, and I realized that my microphone was off. So you can see here I'm showing you where Azure's house is. You can see I was trying to show you that I updated Cypress Handyman's house because a couple of you mentioned that it would have been nice to see a little bit more landscaping, so I added some rocks, some tall grass, and just some general landscaping stuff around his house to make it look nicer. Unfortunately, I do not have the time to re-record everything that I have already played. So I'm going to do this kind of like a speed through, and I'll talk through what I did for her. It's been so long since I've gotten a Tiny Town Challenge video posted, and I actually have to leave soon to go to physical therapy, and I really want to get another episode up, so I'm going to show you everything that I did. I am so sorry that it's not really Let's Play style. But hopefully it will be next episode for her because I think I figured out the problem with my mic. As you can see, it's working now. So first up was figuring out a way to make some money so that we could start with our painting. And so I decided to sell all of the crops that we had in Tiny Town. I figured, why not? It's a community space. I just wanted to sell one time, get enough money to get a painting or 2 done. And then from then on, all of our money is going to be made through painting. So we ended up with like 211 simoleons, I believe, which was plenty for us to get started on our painting. So with 211 simoleons in our pockets, we were able to get started on painting. And that is, from now on, how Azure will be making all of her money. No more selling crops, no more doing anything else. We will only be painting. So she spent a while doing that before our nice welcome wagon showed up. And we had Beatrice Jam show up along with 2 new Sims that I had never seen before. So we had a nice little welcome wagon before we continued on with our painting. So from the beginning, I started to sell our paintings directly from the inventory, as we've done with the last couple of Sims. I don't have enough money to get a sales table, and with her paintings, we can't use a sales table. We have to actually use that selling wall that comes with City Living, I believe. So I had to save up some simoleons for that. It's about 400. So selling paintings just from the inventory until we had enough money to buy that sales wall. Also, this little pop-up came up. Azure decided that she likes gossip, so I decided to go ahead and say yes. For most of these, I'll say yes if it seems at least reasonable. Oh yeah, this was me checking out how much that sales table was going to cost us. Well, not the sales table, the sales wall. And it's 400 simoleons, so we were a little bit away, so I had to get started on doing some more painting. Poor Azure was just, working very hard getting all of these paintings done. The good thing is these paintings get her fun up, so she was at least having fun while she was doing it. And then, of course, her first night sleeping in her beautiful little tent. Okay, and this was the time that I discovered that she really does not like fruitcake, which was our only food source, and it makes her uncomfortable, which then I realized her painting quality won't be as good, and that was really a bummer. And I think I mentioned this before, but one of the things that I've done with the Tiny Towners is some of the things that they do is take care of the animals, they take care of the garden, and they cook. This way, when I get started with a sim where I'm playing with a different sim, I don't have to worry about the animals that aren't theirs. I don't have to worry about the crops that aren't theirs. When we started gathering the tiny towner, actually I think I call them tiny townies, the tiny townies members will take care of all that stuff. And I added cooking to the list because when we're just getting started, it is really helpful to have the other tiny townies cook for us so that we don't have to waste our simoleons. However, I forgot to add Azure to the Tiny Townies club before I started playing her. And what I didn't realize is if you have a closed club, like invite only, you can request membership. And I'm pausing in that explanation to tell you that I definitely cheated her relationship with Frank using Social Bunny. It's not really cheating, it's just speeding up the process of making them friends. I did it with all the tiny townies. So I had her request membership to the tiny townies, and Frank said that since they don't have like a hangout spot, they'd come over to our house and get to know us a bit. So they were all the tiny townie members were hanging around Tiny Town, so it seemed very natural. And here I am utilizing Social Buddy to my advantage once again to get our relationship up with them. I wasn't sure how high your relationship had to be in order to get accepted, so I just went for it. And the hard work paid off because we were accepted to the Tiny Townies Club, which meant that we could start a gathering and I could hope that someone would cook for us. They don't usually. It's pretty sad. Even though it is one of those club activities, they don't always cook for us. But with that all settled, I went ahead and got Azure back to painting. By this point, we were really pretty close to being able to afford the sales wall, and that was my goal. Oh, and then when I went to go to sleep, Opal climbed into our tent and tried to sleep. And I don't understand why, because she has her own house, so I don't know why she decided to sleep in our tent. But I kicked her out. Oh, and at this point, Cypress called us to ask if he should ask someone out on a date. And so obviously I said yes, because Cypress deserves to find love too. Just because we didn't find it during his time didn't mean that he couldn't find somebody that he really enjoyed. And at this point, I was able to afford a sales wall. So we went ahead, got a sales wall, stocked up on paintings, so that we could have our very first sales wall sale. So I just used the rest of the funds that we had left over and made a bunch of small paintings. I think I got around 4, and then we were able to have our first sale. All right, now we're ready to stock our sales wall. We've got 4 beautiful little paintings, and I think I marked it up to 100% because we were at level 6 painting by this point. Now, I have a question for you guys. When you guys run sales, either on the sales table or the sales wall, have you noticed whether or not giving a sales pitch decreases your relationship with that sim? Because that is my current hypothesis, that when you give a sales pitch, it ends up being a negative interaction with that sim. Maybe not every single time you do it, but I find that it happens a lot. And so my entrepreneur sims who are selling from the sales tables end up with negative relationships with some of the people that the only time we've ever interacted them. Wait a second. The only time that we've ever interacted with them has been when we give a sales pitch. And so it makes me nervous to give sales pitches. And later on, I experiment with like whether or not it even makes a difference if you're giving sales pitches. And I don't think it really does. I think things still sell even if you're not giving a sales pitch. So I'm not convinced that it's necessary. But let me know what you guys have discovered about the sales pitch interaction. Then when we woke up in the morning, we had a curse. There was a cursed book on the floor of the community center. So naturally, Azure decided that she was going to destroy the book. So she did. She picked it up. She tore all the pages out. She stomped on it. It like spontaneously combusted, although I guess not very spontaneously because she actually destroyed it. And then we were feeling pretty scared after that for the next 24 hours. Not ideal, but we lived with it. Then I realized that Opal is glitched. She is stinking up the place. It looks like she's never showering. She's falling asleep all over the place. She's like rubbing her stomach because she's hungry. So I think she went to sleep in our tent because somehow she was glitched and she couldn't go home. I'm not sure why. But there she is. You can see her super dirty. I didn't know how to send her home. So later I close out of the game and then restart. Actually didn't close the game. I just went to manage worlds and came back and that seemed to fix her. But for now she's walking around smelling. And yes, you guessed it, then it was back to more paintings. At this point I decided it would be worth it to get the digital sketch pad because I thought it was a lot faster to make paintings and stuff. And you can queue up a bunch of them at once. So I invested in the digital sketch pad. Turns out I was right. It is significantly faster to create paintings when you've got that versus on the easel. The one downside is one of her likes is painting, and the digital sketch pad unfortunately doesn't count towards that painting. It counts towards the painting skill, but she doesn't have fun like she has when she's painting on an easel. So to get her to have fun, she'll either need to paint on the easel or I'll have to find something else fun for her to do because the sketch pad, unfortunately, does nothing for her fun need. Also, our easel spontaneously burst into flames. When I got the fire notification, I thought for sure it was going to be that campfire setup we have. And I know that a couple of you have recommended that I move things farther away from that campfire fire pit so that we don't get spontaneous fires. But, you know, it adds a little bit of fun or chaos, or fun chaos, if you will, when things spontaneously catch fire. But I was not expecting it from our easel. Yeah, there you saw I was trying to cheat Opal's needs because she still just was roaming around stinky. And then I was nervous she was going to die, so I still hadn't closed out and popped back in yet. Then I stocked up our sales wall so that we could have, I believe this is going to be our final sale before I pop into the building portion. But we had a ton of paintings at this point. And this is when I started to experiment with that give a sales pitch thing. You guys are going to have to let me know what you think about that, because I started to think what if I do a friendly interaction before I give a sales pitch? What if I do it after I give a sales pitch? And I was trying to balance out the sales pitch and other interactions so that we could also get our social up and not have terrible relationships with anybody. I don't know. Post in the comments what you guys think about the sales pitch and these things, because it's driving me nuts that I can't get a good handle on it. But here's where we really hit our stride. Once we were able to get a bunch sold, now we've got over 1,000 simoleons. I had to take a break because there was a criminal presence at our sale, and so she was tense. Nobody was having a good time. Well, maybe other people were, but Azure wasn't. She was not having any fun. And she was tense that there was a criminal in the area. So we had to take a break, get her fun up a little bit, take care of her other general needs. And then it was Harvest Fest. And we've got that little decoration box in the community space. So we were able to get that ticked off. And everything is nice and decorated for Harvest Fest while she finished up a couple more paintings. Mostly to get her fun up, but it also doesn't help to have more. This is where I exited and then came back in to help fix Opal. I'm pretty sure it worked. Alright, and I know I said this last time, but this actually was the last round of sales on the sales wall. We didn't quite finish it up in one sale, so I think I did a couple of them, but this is where we get the bulk of our money. Alright, and with only one painting left at our little sales wall, we had over 10,000 simoleons, so I decided that that was the perfect time to get started on building our little tiny house. this point, I have the shell of our house. The whole front is done. I decided I would add the windows and stuff later, but I've got this nice little floor plan with a little powder bathroom on the first floor, enough for a bedroom, a master, ensuite, and like a little painting studio. I wanted the balcony on the upstairs to look out over the living room and have that be open, but I can't get that floor to delete. It's one of those glitches, I think, with For Rent. I'm hoping it'll resolve on its own at some point. You can see I'm now experimenting with some big open windows. I couldn't decide if it looked nice or not, but I figured that if she was building this to have a beautiful painting studio, she'd want really nice natural light coming in. So I decided to go with it. I'm not sure that it looks nice on the house, but it makes for a nice little studio for her upstairs. And really what I'm going for on the inside is leaning heavily with the boho style, definitely blue because that's her signature color, and adding in contemporary where I see fit or where I can't really get boho. Now this is very far from my own personal style. Boho is not my personal style, but blue is. So I don't know. I'm hoping I do a decent job. I don't get all of this done because we didn't have enough money for that, but you can see I'm getting her master bedroom set up. Then I moved downstairs to try to figure out like living room space, figure out where I want to have everything. I think I'm going to be using a lot of high school years furniture because they've got that boho style in some of the furniture pieces. That's kind of what I'm thinking for in this like aqua blue color. So hopefully this turns out nice. I'm going to try to incorporate some lighter woods, and when we have more money, I'll put a ton of plants everywhere because that's kind of what I think of when I think boho. Downstairs we have enough space for a little kitchen off in the corner. You can see I'm putting in the backsplash for that now. Probably a dining room right across from it and next to the living room. And then, I don't know, like a nice entryway. That space is kind of awkward, but I'll see how it all comes together. You can see the door on the left here is a tiny powder bathroom. It's a really awkward shape because I really wanted the idea of like a powder bathroom underneath the stairs, but you cannot do that in The Sims. So it's kind of going around the stairs, but the idea is that it's under the stairs. So just use your imagination with me. And that's pretty much it. I go through, sell the tent and our little cooler, and just get some last minute stuff put in. And then from there, oh yeah, I do finish up this powder bathroom. I forgot. You can see how awkward it is with like the toilet tucked away in there and the sink tucked away in another corner. But I think it ends up looking pretty cute. So I don't know. Yeah, so next the focus is really going to have to be on making more money so that we can furnish the rest of the house, because this is definitely not finished. But I think that she is one of the easier ones to do. We were able to make a lot of money much more quickly than we were with our other Sims. So I think with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode right here. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm so sorry about the mix-up with my microphone. I hope that this was still okay for you guys. In the next one, it will definitely be more Let's Play, and I hopefully will not have to do it voiceover style like I did with this one. But we were able to get so much done with Azure. So if you like what you saw, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Hit that like button, subscribe button, all that good stuff. It helps my channel and it just makes my heart happy. And with that, I will catch you all next time. Bye!